Welcome back inside the ACU TV or studio for this week's Optimist Newscast. I'm Paige Taylor alongside Connor Mullins. Allen Ridge is planning to add some more local outlets to the university-owned shopping center, with 3 businesses signing leases this month. The Summer Moon Cafe, Cork and Pig Tavern, and Apricot Lane Boutique will be joining the shopping center, and according to Allen Ridge, this brings their occupancy to 96%, with only 1 available space for lease. Allen Ridge plans to open the Biscuit Bar, Bahama Bucks, Twisted Root, and Coleman State Bank sometime this fall or at the beginning of next year. Missions Week 2021 was in full swing last week. Here's more on the activity-filled week. The Halbert Center for Missions and Global Service hosted Missions Week this past week. The week's theme was Walk, Further into the Heart of God's Mission. Events took place every night and ranged from a game night to an interactive prayer night. Victoria Cheshire, a nursing major from Flower Mound, was the Abilene Partnerships Director for Missions Week. She explains how a lot of hard work and planning went into making this week possible.
There's been a lot of behind-the-scenes action for Missions Week. It started all the way back at the end of last year, and we have been having monthly meetings all summer and have been meeting up weekly ever since school started and doing a lot of different things in between.
Ann Hawking is one of the worldwide witness coordinators at ACU. She says the interactive prayer night is her favorite night of the week.
Thursday night is definitely my favorite. Our interactive prayer night is just always a really great time, and I've loved seeing that grow over the last few years. But I love the intentionality behind it and the opportunity it creates to just humble ourselves before God and really allow Him to work through and in us.
If Missions Week sparked an interest in students, there are many different ways to get involved.
The best way to start is just by setting up a time to talk with one of our staff members and seeing kind of what your next steps should be in terms of mission, whether that's local, national, or international. We're just here to help.
For The Optimist, I'm Paige Taylor reporting.
2, 1, Paige.
ACU Hispanos Unidos celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month by hosting the event Intra a la Plaza on Friday. Allie Jones has more on the story.
In the height of Friday afternoon, the Abilene community came together and celebrated the Intra a la Plaza. ACU's Hispanos Unidos is a student organization founded on the purpose of celebrating and unifying the underrepresented cultures of students on the ACU campus. Andrea Shubido, the Hispanos Unidos event coordinator, says that she was proud of how the Abilene and ACU community came together and celebrated the Hispanic culture.
So Hispanos Unidos has been around for 30 years. Like how I said, I am the event coordinator, so it took about 2 months for us to get planned because we have to go through a lot of organizing, contacts, and communication with ACU before we started everything.
Music and the smell from local food trucks filled the air as the night went on. Hispanos Unidos Secretary Dylan Cordero talked about how he appreciated the local food trucks' participation in the event.
They all did their part. They came out, Mary's, they came for free, so really happy for them. So did Bahama Bucks, actually. You just have to pay for them.
Staying true to their mission, this event invited all the unique cultures around the community to come together.
And it brought us all together, not just with Hispanics, but with every culture as well. So I'm excited that I was able to participate in that.
From dancing to Selena to munching on Mary's popsicles, Intra a la Plaza will always have something special. For The Optimist, I'm Allie Jones reporting.
Wildcat Sports had a big weekend with football beating Lamar by a large margin. Here's Connor with sports.
Thanks, Paige. Football had an exciting weekend with 4 first-half touchdowns in their final matchup before conference play begins against the Lamar Cardinals. Immediately after the first Wildcat touchdown, Jordan Popp, the reigning WAC Defensive Player of the Week, recovered a fumble for his 2nd straight game. This was just the beginning for cornerback Ryan Stapp, who intercepted a pass leading to his 2nd pick 6 for the ACU defense in the past 2 games to end the 2nd quarter. The second half of the game looked similar to the first, with ACU holding Lamar scoreless while putting up 56 points in total, giving them the first shutout for the Wildcats in 7 years. The next game will be played against Central Arkansas to start off conference season this Saturday at 6 p.m. and will also be broadcasted on ESPN+. This weekend, soccer continued their stretch of home games, hosting Lamar and the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, both of which went into overtime. Kaylee Kahn has more.
The Wildcats hosted Lamar Friday night for the opening game of the Western Athletic Conference play, ending in a double overtime tie 0-0. Sophomore goalkeeper Lily Foster talked about how the Wildcats built momentum going into the overtime post-game.
Overtime, we had all the momentum going into it. We really did. We were in their half for the last 10 minutes trying to get a shot on goal. I think if we even had 2 more minutes of the regular 45-minute second half, we could have had a goal. So the very first overtime, I felt very confident going in that we were going to have the momentum and put one away.
ACU and Lamar had a competitive night where the possession of the ball went back and forth in regulation time. Once overtime came, the Wildcats held the ball for more opportunities to score, but could not sink it in the net. ACU went into their second conference game with a tie underneath them. The Wildcats then hosted the University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley Sunday afternoon, where they went into another overtime match, but pulled through in overtime to gain the win 3-2. The game went back and forth on who was on top. Head coach Casey Wilson said that these games caused them to have a different game plan.
Games will require different types of possession, but our goal today was to get the ball out to our wings and see if we can get forward, and but which we found them the entire game. It was just a matter of us, capitalizing on, those opportunities. But every game is going to be different on how we hold the ball and how we possess the ball.
Deep into the second period, the Wildcats pulled a goal, tying up the game. With only one overtime period, redshirt senior defender Emily Heidman got the crossball in the box and knocked it in for the game-winning goal. Heidman reflected on her game winner after the game.
Well, I mean, we started out slow, but we were feeling the minutes from the last game, and we went into double overtime against Lamar. But as the game progressed, we definitely got more of the bench involved, and we got a lot more hype. So.
The Wildcats stay home for their last weekend series against Chicago State Saturday at 11 a.m. in Elmer Gray Stadium. For The Optimist, this is Kaylee Kahn reporting.
Volleyball faced the Prairie View A&M Panthers this week for the team's last non-conference game. Coming into this match, Prairie View was on an 0-13 losing streak. ACU struggled at the opening until they managed to go on a 6-0 run, ending the first set 25-11. The second set was much closer, with the Wildcats having multiple errors, resulting in a 25-17 win. The Panthers struggled in the third set with multiple errors and a low hitting percentage, giving ACU the win 25-16, ending the game after 3 sets. The large margins led to multiple players playing in the game, which was something head coach Angela Mooney said she was pleased with.
Something that we've been talking about for the last 7 to 10 days about really finishing preseason the way we want to in our style of play. It was really great tonight also to get a lot of people a lot of opportunities, and so heading into conference, that's very important. It's important for just knowing if things aren't going well one night for someone, that someone can step in and have been in a match and had some experience this fall.
The next game will be a road game against SFA, and it will be at 6:30 p.m. Thursday. That's all for this week's newscast. I'm Connor Mullins.
And I'm Paige Taylor. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.